Our next speaker, Mr. Cenk Ersoy, Senior Technical Specialist and Technical Sales Lead for the Middle East and Africa region at Microsoft, speaking on today's topic, Digital Enablement through Microsoft Azure Stack. Over to you, Mr. Cenk.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Yes, today we'll be talking about digital enablement, digital innovation through the use of hybrid cloud technologies, and specifically one of the solutions that's related to hybrid cloud is Azure Stack Hub solution. So, what is hybrid cloud in the first place? So, as Microsoft, we are one of the leading global level public cloud providers, and we have locations around the world, and this refers to 60 plus Azure regions that are actively operating around the world right now. And we provide from these locations infrastructure as a service, platform as a service services, and software as a service services. So you can sign up for ready to use applications such as Dynamic 365, Office 365, and so on and so forth, or you can use our platform services to build applications, to run your applications, or from the ground up, you can actually use infrastructure as a service. You can build your own VMs and put your own applications, secure your own applications. So while we have all of this available, there are still instances where customers need to keep their applications on-prem, and they have to do this for various reasons. Some of them can be summarized as government or industry-specific regulations, the sensitivity of the data itself. For example, for healthcare, it could be people's blood types or people's names, addresses, phone numbers, and so on and so forth, that you need to keep either in your own data center or in your own region or in your own country. There's also, in addition to the sensitivity of data and data residency and data gravity, there's the issue of latency as well. So due to the speed of light being fixed, as we all know, there's latency issues when you're trying to access the nearest Azure region or any public cloud Azure region, for any cloud region for that matter. There are cases where customers need to run very latency sensitive applications, so they need to have it under their own control in their own site. This site could be data center, even remote locations like bank branch offices or factories, and so on and so forth. So Azure Hybrid refers to Microsoft's development efforts and solution portfolio that allows you to use the same development, deployment, and operational skills as you would in the public cloud, and also apply them to the on-premises inventory that you have. Your inventory may be physical servers, could be virtualized servers, could be containers based on Kubernetes, and many other technologies. So we're trying to bring that consistency. So the way you deploy an application in Azure should be pretty much similar to how you would deploy them on-prem. For that, we have Azure Stack family of platform solution that you can package applications we'll talk about, and the same packages that you use can be redeployed, can be used to redeploy the same application on premises on Azure Stack. So in Azure, we can package applications in terms of ARM templates, Azure Resource Manager templates. They are JSON scripts that tells the cloud what to do. Carve up a VM for me. This is the size. This should be the number of network cards. This should be the type of disk you need to use, blah, blah, blah. And it's declarative. So you put all that into a script and the cloud knows what to do with it. It's the same thing should apply to on-premises platform, which is Azure Stack Hub. We'll go into detail. So the way you you develop once and you can deploy many times, either to the public cloud or to on-premises. The way you manage your data services should be the same as you would in Azure using Azure SQL or other SQL instances, PostgreSQL, and so on and so forth. In Azure, the same skill sets, the same tooling should apply to on-premises. Same thing, the way you carve up a network, the same things that you use in terms of technologies, virtual network subnets, firewalls, and so on and so forth. You should be able to use them also on premises. We're talking about virtualized versions of those services. The way you secure your applications, the way you provide authentication to your applications should be identical between the public cloud and the on-premises. And the same thing, the way you secure your applications, the way you pass an audit should be identical between how you do it in Azure versus how you do it on-prem. So for that, we also have Azure Arc solution that spans on top, that brings all of those capabilities down to you. one of the key players on bringing consistency between on-premises Azure services and the Azure services in the cloud is Azure Stack Hub. So what it is a dedicated platform. It's an appliance that gives the same core functionality of Azure, and ODP is running one, providing that service for you in the country. And the Azure Stack Hub solution is exactly that. By connecting to its interface, you'll be able to carve up virtual machines, virtual networks, storages, and secure your applications, develop your applications in the same manner you would do in the public cloud, and it is in online, and it is local and compliant with the regulatory controls. And not just the infrastructure as a service, you'll be able to deploy applications as well easily while remaining consistent with the services available in Azure. So it has the same look and feel, it has the same portal, it has pretty much the same APIs as Azure. The number of services in Azure Stack Hub naturally are smaller. They are the core services of Azure. So you will not find all of the Azure services. If you go to the Azure portal, you will see fundamental ones in Azure Stack Hub, and they reside in the country, and they are under control of ODP. And so it's an autonomous cloud solution. It's an appliance solution. Customers use it to keep things at the edge, and it can even operate completely disconnected. There's another mode of configuring it. And your data never leaves the Azure Stack Hub unit, and it runs completely local. All the VMs and applications and security runs completely isolated on the Azure Stack Hub appliance. So this is great for data sovereignty, as we earlier talked about. Since the APIs are identical to Azure, it's a great place to do app modernization, which we will talk about if I don't run out of time first. So these are the hardware vendors that provide Azure Stack Hub as an appliance solution. And so these are the services that are available in Azure Stack Hub now. These are the core services I talked about. You may not be familiar with Azure, but you'll be able to carve up virtual machines. You'll be able to do virtual networking, storage. We have a Key Vault solution, which is an encryption solution. You don't need to write things that are human readable. You can embed it into here, and you know that it's secure. In addition to virtual machines, you'll be able to run containerized applications. We have a full Kubernetes service over there. And on Azure Stack Hub, database as a service can be provided. You don't have to deal with the hosting server. You just use the database capacities. For front end, we have app service. It can spawn up web front ends for you and API apps for you. You don't have to manage any VMs for that. For serverless computing, Azure Functions is exactly it. You define what code to run, and it's going to trigger and run under the conditions that you define, and many other services. There's a bunch of Azure Marketplace templates on Azure Stack Hub. These are VM templates from Barracuda, from open source, from F5, Fortinet, and so on and so forth. You can easily deploy. In addition to the services mentioned in the first line, event hubs for event processing, serverless computing, Azure Functions, app services, we have also container registry, ACR, and we have IoT Hub coming. So this is for managing and interacting with IoT devices. So it's an evolving platform. This is a link for you to look at the ecosystem of the solutions that are available. A little short video for you to enjoy, to see what Azure Stack Hub does, completely isolated on a sorry, let me actually bypass that so we don't lose time. Different use cases, applies to different technologies and different sectors. You can run any custom applications that are Windows and Linux based, actually, in addition to the PaaS services that we provide. And these are some of the happy customers, from Schlumberger to Airbus to Chevron. We have about 400 or so right now, big customers around the world, ODP being one of them in my region. I'm very proud. And you'll have the slides, so you'll have the links to look at those. So as I said, the Azure Stack Hub exists because customers would like to keep security in the country. They can carve up these services and use it, deploy their applications in the same manner that they would in the public cloud. It's completely adaptable. So one typical application is you keep your data on Azure Stack Hub, your database in Azure Stack Hub. You can still enjoy the services on Azure, which is, in this example, is a web front end. So you can still tie the Azure services in the nearest Azure region to Azure Stack Hub. Similarly, DevOps is it. You can deploy applications, you can modernize applications, and you'll be able to deploy them either to Azure or Azure Stack Hub because it's the same code base. It's the same serverless computing, microservices, PaaS services as mentioned before. And Kubernetes is fully functional and available for you in different flavors. And you can enjoy that and build applications really quickly. You can deploy anything, including machine learning, cognitive services, AI, ML. This would be the platform for AI at the edge. I left a little video here that shows how we tied AI. It looks at the out-of-stock situation in a medicine cabinet, and it triggers actions and does reordering. This is the core of my message. These core Azure functionalities and capabilities are provided on Azure Stack Hub through ODP. You can still enjoy the other Azure services in the cloud in a hybrid manner. And whatever you do today, whatever you learn today, it applies to the public Azure in all cases. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be very happy to answer, and have a great day.
Thank you, Cenk, for your time and the lovely presentation. All the attendees, you all can ask your questions to Mr. Cenk, and we will forward it to you, and then you can reply to them. Yes, sir?
Thank you.
And Mr. Nazir, I will reply back to you regarding your question, which is if ODP has all the above mentioned MS Azure Stack services. Most probably, yes, I will reply back to you. Someone from the team will, from Oman Data Park, will revert back to you soon. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Have a nice afternoon.